Figments Experiment by Soulz Studios. Remember the ride of Journey into Your Imagination at Epcot? Well, before that one, there was an earlier version called Journey into Imagination. It opened on March 3rd, 1983. This one was loved by many and was the best version for many Disney fans. It was remade 3 times. The reason why was never found. But some conspiracy theorists came up with a crazy out-of-this-world conclusion. I personally believe in the following, as I myself had a similar experience. It could have been a false memory, but I will never know. The theory is that the ride changed based on the negative and positive memories, and it even knows the future of the riders, as some seemed terrified, sad, angry, and disgusted when they left the ride. Some decided to come forward with their experiences on social media. Let me show them to you. Peter Johnson. So you may think I'm insane, but Journey into Imagination wasn't as it seemed, and I'm glad that Disney changed it. I entered the ride at 9 a.m. with my children. The Omnivore moved into a show stage. The curtains moved away and Figment was behind them, staring at us. We felt some kind of migraine as he looked intensely into our eyes. Then he pointed to the left, and that was where we went. But we were in some kind of realistic cemetery. The tombstones all had names of people we knew that were deceased. I saw figures floating, teleporting, and approaching us. I was emotional, and all I felt was deep sadness. Then we entered underground into another room where there were animatronics of my parents and I when we were young. We talked about playing games, watching movies, and other things we did in our daily lives. This situation took place in real life as well. That was when I thought that something was wrong and this ride isn't normal. We then arrived to the last section and I felt a sudden chill out of nowhere. The backgrounds, props, smells and sounds were exactly the same as my parents' house. Disney never would have been able to know all this. The farther we went, the more the house seemed broken, rotten and abandoned. I heard a mocking laughter next to me, and when I turned to see, I saw 2 glowing eyes that seemed to come from Figment, hiding in the shadows. And as he walked further into the darkness, I felt 2 cold hands grabbing me by my shoulders, and they were lifting me from my seat. I began screaming, and my son saved me by pulling me back on the seat. I was in tears and terror. My son was weirded out and freaked out as well. In the finale, Figment said our names and smiled this unsettling smile, and he thanked us for participating in his experiment. I got off the ride at 5 p.m., which made no sense as Disney rides aren't supposed to be this long. An employee asked me where I was this entire time, and I replied that I was in the ride. I hope someday I'll forget about this traumatic experience. Kevin Liams. All I remembered about Journey into Imagination was seeing animatronics of my friends doing unforgivable things such as stealing, lying, kidnapping, and saying mean things to others. Worse things have also been done, and at the end of it, I was angered and in a bad mood. But it was just a ride, so what could possibly happen? Well, later on, my friends did the exact same things, and I ended all relationships with them. It somehow predicted the future, and this makes me uncomfortable. And now, it's my turn to tell my experience. My name is Alex Hunts, and I've tried the ride with my parents a long while ago. Figment was in every section, singing a song about thoughts and imagination. At first, everything was exactly as it should have been, until Figment's voice sounded lower. At this point, he began to sing a song about lament and depression. He seemed to be following us as we moved through the ride, as I heard the meadow-like footsteps behind us, and his voice was behind us until the end. That surprised me as I was not expecting such a change. As I looked at my parents, tears were coming out of their eyes, and the backgrounds and props were not so happy anymore. I was going through the saddest moments of my life, such as a breakup I had, and when I was abandoned by friends and when I was ignored. It all played out in the ride. I also began to somber into a state of depression, and I thought that my life was trash and that I was worthless. As the ride ended, I cried and my parents were crying within. The people in the lines were confused and concerned as we arrived. Some of them left the ride before trying it out. Don't worry about me. I'm okay, but this ride left me this constant feeling of depression that I cannot ignore or prevent. It just comes in and comes out. And some lucky individuals have had pleasant experiences, and to some of them the ride was completely normal, as it should have been. So next time you ride the newest version of this ride, be thankful that they changed it.